Hello and welcome to Stateside here on Politics Social. We should be joined tonight by both Scott Williams and, so I'm in the chair a little bit, and also by our friend Tim Bristol over in the States. They'll be along shortly. So in the intervening minutes, I'll just say hello to everyone. Hello, I'm Graham Hughes. Gobby Scouser. At your service. In the chat tonight, we have got some awesome people. We've got Diz in there. We've got Tim Ballum. We've got Paul Ewan and Alex. We've got Chris C in there. We've got Pete's Music. If you would like to join them in the chat, all you need to do is hit that lovely juicy subscribe button, which is there. Oh, it just doubled up. It's not supposed to do that. Sorry. Let's try that again. Big juicy it came in the wrong place. This has gone really badly. This is like when Trump tries to do something and it all goes horribly, hilariously wrong. But anyway, just all you need to do is press the subscribe button and then wait for about 30 seconds and you can join our friends in the chat here. Please don't be a troll or we will mute you and boot you. Ha ha, ha 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 ha. Anyway, I've now been reliably informed that Scott is in the house. So I'm just going to go over to our other feed here and he should miraculously appear. Scott, how the devil are you?
Hi, I'm all right. How are you?
Well, you know, I've had better years. So, how do you feel being American at the moment? Because you live in London, don't you? I mean,
Yes.
Are you walking around with your head down? Like, I mean, are you telling everyone you're Canadian?
Yeah. Well, I haven't been out much, I guess, so
keeping a low profile.
The only place I've been to the gym and a gig yesterday was it. Yeah, I know I look weird with my earphones right now. I've got to listen out for the door. So
that's all right.
Yeah.
Scott's got a delivery, a sex delivery.
I got a food delivery show.
Oh, sorry, a food delivery. Oh, sorry. Did I say sex delivery?
I've come to deliver sex. No, it's so much more boring. It's Sainsbury's.
Oh, who needs Sainsbury's?
Yeah, like literally really boring.
Yeah. Tim Ballum is in just dropped £10 into the super chat fund. That's very kind of you, Tim. Thank you so much. Whilst our gaze is on Ukraine, Israel is blocking all goods from entering Gaza. You're absolutely right, Tim. And all humanitarian aid is being blocked. And what Trump is doing, he's acting like a weapon of mass distraction. And I'm sure there's going to be lots of atrocities happening all around the world right now. That'll be happening. And while our gaze is fixed like the eye of Sauron on the USA and what it's doing about Ukraine. But in the last couple of hours, I don't know if you've seen, Zelensky said there's no end in sight for this war. And Trump's got, I'm going to make a big announcement tomorrow night. Yeah. He's written it all in caps. So it's probably going to be like he hates Taylor Swift or something.
I haven't seen that. So what he's written on his Truth Social, I suppose?
Yes. He's written on his Truth Social. Let's have a look. Tomorrow night will be big. I tell it like it is. That's what Donald Trump has said.
Do you think it'll be the withdrawal of all U.S. aid to Ukraine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the guy's a Russian asset. The guy's just doing what Russia wants him to do.
Yeah. I agree. In regards to, I guess, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Friday night?
Yeah. Let's. We've talked about that a little bit on the show before, but we really should, It's been a chaotic week, hasn't it? We had the Oval Office meltdown with Zelensky, where he tried to humiliate Zelensky. And half the people who saw that thought that Zelensky came out of it quite well, all things considered. And the other half are fucking idiots, and they should be ignored. We've had the Dow index is down, the share index is down in America because of these tariff-induced market crashes. He seems to be losing control on his own agenda, but maybe it's a long con for the Russians to consolidate power. He's just waiting for his next instructions. And, is Trump selling out the USA to Russia? That's the big question.
It is, and like the optimistic American in me says, no, of course not. But the signs and the clues tell me, oh, yes, he is. This is he's Putin's butt monkey,
Yeah.
and
How
it
embarrassing is that? I mean, I keep stressing
is.
that, GDP per capita in Russia is around where it is for Grenada in the Caribbean. It's not a of all the great powers, it's not really great. It doesn't have much power.
No, I agree. I think there's I think well no, when it comes to power, I think that's the thing. Sorry. What I meant to say was that or what I was formulating in my head was that he is he's attracted to the power he believes Putin to have. Um Clearly. Uh
I don't think Putin's got any power over him. I just think he's in love with Putin. I think he's genuinely in romantic love with Putin. I think he wants to have Putin's babies when he grows up.
Putin's butt babies. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
And he's selling out your former country. You've got a British passport as well, though, don't you?
Yes, I do. I have two passports.
Yeah, I'll be hiding that American one
Yeah,
far
well,
away.
I wouldn't be surprised if I get told at some point that I'm gonna have to get relinquish it at some point.
Well,
Um,
is it going to be
because
that much of a drag now? Wow.
no, not talking about like my choice. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm eventually, dual citizens are told make your mind up,
Yes, like bisexual people are often told by gay people, "Make your bloody mind up, will you?" No.
Well, they should. They
that's, a,
should. But
that's all I want to say. No. um, Ivan Ambrose, thank you very much for the £2 super chat there, mate. I think I best keep off the news waves tomorrow, says Ivan. Yeah. Yeah, mate, I think you had. And also, anyone else watching this who doesn't want to be just berated by this shit, I'm going to have another couple of games of Weather for Kari this week because that seems to get people's minds a little bit off. A little off the whole politics thing, and we can talk about all this other stuff. I'd much rather talk about, travel and that, and the world and fun stuff. But no, we've got to talk about this shit. Why are we still here? Why it's 2025? Why is Trump still a thing? Reagan, the Reagan era seemed to last forever, but really it was only 8 years. Thatcher in power seemed to last forever, but really it was only 11 years. This is going to be, by the time he fucks off into the sunset, it's going to be over 12 years of Trump.
He's pretty much dominated the political discussion since he threw his hat into the political ring. And it's infuriating because he's such a rubbish human being. And
And he's so fucking ugly. I'm going to change my little animation in the corner. So I'm going to change it to the Butterface. There you go. He's Butterface now. But yeah, it's infuriating because he's so fucking awful in every way a human being can be awful. He's ugly on the inside, ugly on the outside. He's just an abomination. And the people who warm to him are people who have an important part of their soul missing, obviously. Like, I get shit for being ginger. I get told that I've got no soul. But I wasn't the one today in Parliament. Nigel Farage standing up for his country. His country being Russia, by the way. Toad a fucking Toad Hall. Going, oh, well, he does it. Zelensky doesn't want peace, does he? Yeah. You gotta stand up for your rights. You do. If you're Putin, he felt threatened. He did. They poked the bear. We did that. We poked the bear, Scott. We shouldn't have done that. What did we do to poke the bear? Oh, we allowed a democratic election to take place in Ukraine.
Yeah,
How very dare we?
Yeah, Nigel's he's been out running around talking his shit. He was on Nick Ferrari this morning. Just talking absolute nonsense, as per normal. He is another, just another person who's Putin's got his hand up his backside,
Yeah.
and it's unfortunate. It really is. And then yeah, the some parts of the working class in this country are falling for it hook, line, and sinker. I think that was one of the most, if anything was frustrating to me, other than watching the whole Zelensky Trump thing that happened pretty
Yeah.
much in real time. Like, I was at home. I had the news on anyway. I think I'd been working from home. I was listening to LBC, and it was like breaking as soon as it all happened. It was obviously the exchange was uncomfortable to watch. It was then listening to being on social media or listening to the radio or going on YouTube and hearing people think that Zelensky was the one that was disrespectful. And
Yeah.
I don't understand how they see that. Where? How? What did he say?
Well,
What exactly did he say? Other than, like, because, all right, we know exactly. Well, I'm doing my Trump thing. We know exactly why the Republicans thought he was disrespectful. And it's not because of anything they've done, because they haven't done anything. Joe Biden did things. They haven't been in the office
yes.
five
Yeah.
minutes. They
The
haven't done
things they should
anything.
be asking, giving thanks
They
for
want
the stuff
thanks for
that
stuff that
Biden
Joe
did.
Biden did.
Yeah. We just got
Yeah.
a super chat in. Just sorry, I need to interrupt. Paul Ewan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Is Trump serious about Russia or distracting everyone while they turn the US into their Project 2025 for oligarchy? Paul, both. I think he
It's
loves
happening at the same
Putin
time.
like like a man loves a woman.
Yeah.
Parker
When
says
a
Starmer the
man loves
warmonger. Yeah, that's Parker. I don't think you really know what's going on. I don't think you understand. There's a very, very big difference between fighting for defense and fighting for conquest. The
Yeah.
Russian imperialists are murdering people. They have kidnapped over 10,000 Ukrainian children. Kidnapped them. Do you remember everyone kicked off about Hamas kidnapping the Israelis kids? This is 100 times more than that. Children kidnapped and taken to Russia, taken from their parents, but to be brought up as Russian. This is genocide.
Yeah.
There is a
Yeah.
huge difference between fighting to defend your country, to defend your people, your way of life, your democracy, and fighting a war of aggression, or fighting a war of conquest. And I hate the fact that these two ideas get conflated, and we get, but Zelensky doesn't want peace. Yes, he fucking does. Have a look at the thumbnail of this video, and it just says Russia leaves, arrow, peace.
Yeah.
That's it. There's your peace
Yeah.
deal right there. Get the fuck out of someone else's country, Russia.
Literally that. And the rhetoric that has been coming out of the White House from the day of inauguration was, we had the Fox News reporter who's playing at defense secretary. Literally, he said it. He already said it. He already said they're going to have to give up Crimea, and that is, that they've laid out their stall already.
Yeah, yeah.
This I remember. All right, so last week we're watching Macron go in there on the charm offensive. We're watching Keir Starmer go in there on the charm offensive, and it was so weird to me personally. Why is Zelensky going there? Why? What? What? There's this idea of a minerals deal or whatever.
He had to. He absolutely had
And
to.
yeah,
For his
yeah,
country. He has
yeah,
to do everything in his power to try
yeah,
and keep the Americans on side for
yeah,
the moment until Europe can get its act together, which might take a few years.
yeah,
But Trump's probably going to pull the plug tomorrow and say that Ukraine's not going to
Yeah.
By the way, we want
So
half. By the way, we're not gonna fund any more fighting in Ukraine, and also we're gonna take half the Arctic, and Russia's gonna take the other half, and me and Putin are gonna ride off into the sunset together, holding hands. Ivan, I've got a couple of super chats. Sorry, before we go on. Ivan said, "I made a statement on TikTok earlier calling out Farage. Next thing, someone made an intervention openly saying they are British and they would prefer Putin was running the UK rather than Starmer.
yeah, I've
What the
seen
fuck?
that those
It's
ridiculous
bots.
troll comments.
Yeah, no one who is sane or has the ability to write that will think
Yeah.
that. Because if you got the ability to read, you can't be that thick. I mean, that's
Yeah.
proper, like, kicked in the head by a horse kind of
But
thick.
that's just footballification. That's,
Yeah.
saying things to be provocative. I'd rather we have Putin than Keir Starmer. It's just like you really don't know what you're talking about.
Well, also, what they're saying there,
don't
Scott,
know.
is they want you to die for being gay. They want me to die for being a gobby scouser and saying what I think on the internet. They
Yeah.
want us marched off to a camp and executed. That's what they
Yeah.
want. And if any of your friends fucking say that, any of your mates say something as ridiculous as that, it's time to cut them out of your life, because they're the people who will dob you into the fucking Stasi. All right?
Yeah. And
They're
so
the ones who'll dob you in, mate. So just get them out of your life quickly. All right? Sooner rather than later. Darian, to start, thank you very much for the super chat. The US stock market is currently going through the floor, and Social Security payments are going to be delayed for the first time in 80 years. America first into recession. That's from Darian to start. Well, it's shit. It's shit. And, it's funny in a way, but in another way, I mean, people are going to be suffering all over America.
Yeah.
Some of the most vulnerable people are going to be suffering
old
at
veterans.
the evil, psychotic hands of the richest people who have ever lived. These people who got more money than Smaug. Just, mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. Questionable sanity. The people who say things like that have not been to Russia and stayed with normal Russians.
They don't know anything about Russia.
No.
They know nothing about Putin. They know nothing about Russia. They know nothing about the actual issues. All they know is, that Starmer hasn't fixed the country in the first 6 months of his premiership, right?
Yeah.
So everything is absolutely awful and that he needs to go, right? And
I don't think they're real.
even though he never promised that, he never said he was going to be able to do it.
I don't think they're real. I don't think they can be real. The Tories
They
that
must
I've
be
spoken
bots.
to,
People like that.
the older Tories that I've spoken to absolutely hate what Trump has done, and they're all very much for Ukraine. Don't forget, the Ukraine Homes for Ukraine scheme came in under the Tories.
So and was
supported by Tory voters.
It's either weird reformers or bots.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of bots going on on TikTok at the moment.
Neutral Container asks, have you done anything on the suspension of US cybersecurity yet? No, we haven't brought that up, but that is huge. So in America, there has been an order that the cybersecurity team that stop Russian threats to American security, up to and including nuclear weapons, they're disbanding. They're going to ignore any threats coming from Russia.
Yeah.
So you Trump. If there's anyone watching this who thinks Trump's got America's best interests at heart, he's handing over the codes for your nuclear weapons to Vladimir Putin, who fucking hates you.
Pretty much.
He fucking hates you. You daft twat.
Pretty much.
He hates you more than I do. I mean, I don't even care about half of them. Do you know what I mean? But Putin has just got this, this mad vendetta against the West because it destroyed his beautiful, beloved Soviet Union. Oh, we got a Tim.
Hi.
We got Tim on the line. Oh, this is exciting. Right, I'm gonna have to change things up. Now. But don't worry, it'll work. I'm sure. Tim, can you hear us? Come in, Tim.
No.
Hello,
Didn't
Tim.
hear that, mate.
Hello.
Sorry.
Use your mouth words.
Can you hear me
Tim.
now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you now, sir. How's it going? You all right?
I've had better weeks.
Hey, I made a very similar joke at the start of the show.
Well, you
How?
said year.
Yeah, I've had better decades. I've had better
Year.
millenniums. I asked Scott this at the top of the show. Tim, how's it feel being an American right now?
Well, after Friday, it's not been great.
Have you been going around telling everyone that you're Canadian?
Not yet.
Are you planning to? Do you think you'll get away with it?
Any foreign person I meet, anyone who's not American, I think well, I'll sew the Canadian flag to my backpack.
Yes, good plan. Mate, what the hell? Like seriously,
It's always interesting to hear from the American perspective because on the outside, we got our media, we've got, we can see things or whatever. I think we're getting a much fuller story than what you guys are getting. So it's interesting to hear what your friends, your family, the people actual, real, living Americans, what are they thinking of all this? Because I know my friend Rachel from Cleveland, she messaged me going World War III. She's terrified.
I haven't talked to too many people recently because I've been sick, but
Sorry,
my wife, who's not like she doesn't really follow politics. She doesn't like it, especially nowadays. It's just too depressing. I showed her the clip of the Trump Zelensky sit down, and she was like, "We got to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, get out while you can.
Like, she was like, "I don't know how much longer we can stay in this country if, the president and the vice president are going to be that hostile towards someone who's the leader of a country, is supposed to be our ally."
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen in all my time following politics anything in the White House that has ever happened like that ever.
No, well, it hasn't.
Well, yeah,
that hasn't happened. That hasn't happened. He brought Jerry Springer show to the White House. He brought
WrestleMania.
Reality TV show entertainment. The Real Housewives of the White House. That's what he wanted to show the world.
Yeah, and like when I watched it happen live. I was just watching the news like I always do.
Yeah.
And they were showing the little press scrum that was happening, and they were talking, and then Vance was starting to go in on Zelensky, and I was like, oh, wait. My first thought was, why is JD Vance there? And then this isn't good. And then I heard Trump starting to like shout at Zelensky after Zelensky was saying that, we've tried to make peace with Russia. We signed all these deals. We've tried to do prisoner exchanges, and he's gone back on all of it. So what do you think that you're going to be able to get out of him? And Vance was like, well, we're going to get the peace that you want, and you have to conscript all these people to put on your front lines because you have a man shortage and all that. And Zelensky is like, have you ever even been to Ukraine? And Vance hasn't.
He said he's watched a YouTube video about it.
YouTube video stories, and you just take leaders from other countries and take them on a propaganda tour, and it's like, but that could, from any side that you are on politically, you could say it is propaganda. You know what I mean? Like, going around the White House is a propaganda tour, right? It was such a bullshit thing to say.
It's so clear that it was an ambush by Vance and Trump, because that's the only reason Vance was there.
Pre-planned it. Vance was the annoying kid that stands behind the bully going, nah. That's what that was. He instigated it and then ran behind the actual bully.
I'm just going to have to jump in because Tim put in a super chat a while ago. Thank you very much, Tim. That's very kind of you. More than $2 billion worth of munitions going to Israel from the US. Where do you think they were destined for?
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
but yeah, the way they behaved was absolutely abominable, but not unexpected. I did a video last week where I said he's walking into a trap. Zelensky's walking into a trap. I think he was very lucky to get out of that fucking room without them killing him, which Trump can do now legally. He's not. America's not part of the International Criminal Court. It's
Right.
He's been
Yeah,
told by
no,
the
they've
Supreme Court that he's above the law. He has beyond Henry VIII powers. At least Henry VIII was, in some way held back by the Magna Carta, saying there's something above the king's power, and that is the law. That's the reason why Richard III got killed. Battle of Bosworth, was it? That's why they chopped the head off the first bloke who we had called Charles as king, because he he put taxes on people and they didn't like it. But, we could legally justifiably do that. And Trump's been given powers beyond what absolute divine right monarchs of Europe had 500 years ago by the fucking Supreme Court, which is supposed to uphold justice.
It is supposed to be, though, he's not allowed to be prosecuted for things that he's done in the interest of America. So if he murdered Zelensky on television, is that in the interest of America? No.
No. It's an official act, Scott.
It's not an official act.
The words are official acts.
Yeah, but it's not.
Who decides whether it's official or not? Trump.
Yeah, the problem is the court would have to decide what an official act is, and is it,
is a murder of a leader of a country an official act?
Is that an official act by president?
This Supreme Court would say yes to that, absolutely, without a doubt.
I don't think so, but yeah.
Ivan, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. It's very kind of you, Ivan. You've been very kind this evening. I feel so helpless and it causes frustration. I want to do lots of things, but what can we do? We need the biggest ever people power movement. Ivan, I think it's coming, mate. I mean, there's enough that he's pissing off enough people in this country, in his own country, in countries all over the world. There will be a backlash, and it's going to hurt. It's going to be very, very painful for a lot of Americans. If we are coordinated and we come down on those American corporations that back Trump like a ton of bricks, they can't operate without our money. Rednecks have got no money. I've got a load more super chats. Sorry, I'm going to be dominating the chat for a moment. Question about sanity, £5 super chat. I'd be curious to compare percentages of citizens from the USA and Ukraine who live under bridges. That's from Question about sanity. And then Ivan Ambrose, thank you very much, mate. And then Ivan Ambrose, another £5. Thank you very much. Tim in the US, please emigrate to the UK. You'll be looked after properly here.
I've desperately been trying.
Is it just you and your wife, or do you have children?
It's just me and my wife.
Oh, good. Don't bring
my island. Ginger Island.
Yeah, go live on an island all by yourself.
Go and stay there.
I'll ask her. She might take you up on that.
I would love to do that, just to go. Like you can go there and forget that the rest of the world exists completely.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That would be good for a change.
But how do you make money? That's the thing. You can't live for free there. I suppose you could. If you can grow some bananas and eat some fish.
No, I'm talking about just on a holiday. Like if there's a holiday destination where you can literally forget that the whole world exists.
Yeah, that's Ginger Island. You can do that on Ginger Island.
It's like this island seems to be the best thing in the world for it. Yeah. Like nothing else exists. We are on an island by ourselves for a week with our supplies, and then
it's really nice to
does Ginger Island have Wi-Fi? Because then
it can. It doesn't.
All problems
it doesn't, but it can. So at the moment, the problem is that you can't really get internet like we have internet unless you pay a shitload of money for it.
Right.
Scott's going to have to go and open the door. Turn your camera off. Anyway, so if you turn this camera off, I could set it up for just me and you. But yeah, what you can do is use your phone, right? You can get a phone signal, so you can get internet on your phone. It's dead cheap over there. It's like $5 a week or something for unlimited internet. However, it only lets you make a hotspot for like 1 gigabyte. So if you're trying to do work on a laptop and you have your hotspot going, it doesn't quite work. But
I was going to say,
want to disconnect, it's heaven.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tim, you don't want Wi-Fi.
There's a Pokemon stop on the island, and there's a couple of nests as well. You just sit there all day playing Pokemon Go. Anyway.
You don't want. I wouldn't want Wi-Fi. I want to be like disconnected from.
Yeah, but you want phone signal. You see, it's this level of
That's
you want it to
fine.
be a bit Robinson Crusoe, and you want it to be a bit Castaway, but not to the level that you're like literally starving and having to do your own dentistry. So
No,
there's a boat.
talking about a week.
you can get to the mainland. It takes 20 minutes to get to the hospital in case of emergencies. There is a helicopter landing pad on the island. You could actually land a helicopter on it
Oh,
in a super emergency. But then they'll charge you for it, so you better have good insurance. But yeah, I mean, for me, when I went there just a couple of days after Trump got re-elected, and I just didn't look at the news. You know, I was doing shows. I was talking to people. The chat was telling me what was going on, which is quite fun. But I purposefully had a little bit of a disconnect and just wants to talk about other stuff.
That's the thing you got to like. It's. I think you can say you're going to do it, right? You could be like, "Oh, all right, I'm not going to look at this. I'm not going to read that." But it's too hard. It's the temptation's there. If you have the equipment in your house to do it, it's difficult, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's also part of like their strategy, right? Is they want to have people seem overwhelmed so that they don't pay attention to everything.
Blood the zone.
Tim Ballon there at the £5 super chat. On an upside, thank you very much, Tim. On an upside, there'll be plenty of land for housing when US bases in the UK are closed. And so I was asking, room for me on you? Yes, Sarah, there's room for everyone on the island. Well, probably not everyone, but I gotta say, like, I sort of go, go across the island. It's not that easy to live there. It is in the middle of a jungle. It is technically a rainforest, and it was best described to me by my friend Lindsay as heaven and hell in one. You wake up one morning and it's absolute heaven. It's really calm and the sun's out. It's beautiful. Go snorkeling, and you have another day, and it's just hell. The insects are out. You're getting bitten to death. It's pouring down with rain. You can't go anywhere or do anything. Everything's falling apart and rusting and not working, and you're going out your mind. So yeah, it's not as relaxing as it might look from still images from pictures. I hope no one it's
real nature.
It's available on Airbnb. It's only like $60 a night. Yeah, $60 a night. Each hole on Scottish golf course perfect place to dispose of a badger. Says Plum Duff. I think badger is is a euphemism. Although, Tim, we were thinking of invading one of Trump's golf courses, taking 20% of it, and then saying this is ours.
All right.
What do you reckon? Is he going to stop us?
How's he going to stop you?
Exactly. Lee says, I can't see Starmer breaking away from the US. Well, it's not really up to Starmer, is it? Because it's our economy. Like, so much of our economy is tied with America. And as we saw when we pulled out of the EU, how much of a hit our economy took. Our economy hasn't grown for over 18 years now. Our economy hasn't grown.
Yeah, so, I mean, America's economy is going to contract in the next 2 to 6 months. Yeah. Like they're already talking
some
about
bad shit coming.
Yeah, they're already talking about like a correction in the market. There's going to be job losses. We're gonna hit a recession before 2026.
Well, he's having some help. Taiwan have just a Taiwanese superconductor company has just invested $100 billion in a new plants. Got a few new plants in Arizona, I think, in America, and also OPEC Plus, which includes Russia, have made the oil prices go down, which should help inflation not go up in America. So he's got allies. You know, the sort of the wrong thinking world, the Saudi bonesaw people and the Russia terrorists.
Did you hear that speech the other day? Or I don't know. I saw a speech on TikTok. I don't know when it was. When he was just sitting there saying, "Yeah, we're going to ask the Saudis to lower the price of oil. We're going to demand it, and they're going to do it."
Yeah, they did.
What?
They did.
They did do it.
Yeah, they did do it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
I wondered if it was an older speech.
On that side of things, yeah, he'll get help, but home prices are at an all-time high. The interest rate on houses is near an all-time high for like the last 20 years or so. Home buyers are now leaving the market because they're being priced out. So there's a housing bubble happening.
Well, that's been
Unemployment
happening here for years.
unemployment claims are up. Like there's all the signs of not just like a market correction about to happen, but there's going to be a housing collapse at some point because people can't afford homes anymore. People can't afford rent anymore.
Mm.
No,
So there's
you'll be surprised how long that can sustain because it's been doing that here for a long time.
yeah, but I think I think here it's accelerating because the price of houses is just I'm looking to buy a house currently and
Right.
the price of houses are just insane.
What are the
Yeah.
kind of prices that you're looking at?
I'm looking at a house at like the $600,000 range
Right.
because the value of our house went up so much,
You can
but
afford to do that?
not on my salary, but my wife makes an interesting amount of money.
Uh,
But the value of
what
our house is actually what's
what does
allowing
that
us
get you?
3 beds, 2 baths,
Yeah.
maybe 2,000
Do you know
square
that's
feet.
the price of a one-bedroom flat in London?
Jesus. I mean,
Yeah.
I live so I
What-
live
so what I'm just trying to say to you, I like
yeah.
watching prices go up in London. You'll be surprised how long it can sustain.
You,
Yeah.
you
but
guys
then
pay for a gallon of fuel what we pay for a liter of fuel over here.
yeah.
Well, that's because, we
Well, you won't get
artificially
anywhere otherwise, will you?
yeah. No.
Literally that.
No. But like a gallon of home heating oil for us is like I think I paid like $6 a gallon for home heating oil.
You lucky bastards. We got our energy bill for January. It was £400. It's about
Oh,
$500 for a month.
well, see, my
And
oil
that's with the
tank holds
heating off
about
most of the time. We only had it on for 2 hours a
a
day.
hundred and I paid $700 in January for heating my house. And I
Wow.
paid
That's
another
about the same amount.
$400 in electricity.
Bloody hell. So what,
Yeah,
$1,100 you paid
for my
in 1
utilities.
month?
And I paid $50 for water,
For
but
1
yeah,
month?
for 1 month, yeah.
We're
Holy
looking at we're
do you live
we're
in a
looking at
do you
that
live in a
soon though.
mansion?
No, but so Connecticut is one of the most expensive states to live in for utilities. Our electric
Wow.
prices are through the roof.
That's
I pay
insane.
for the heating oil prices are pretty high. Um, and I also live in like the New York City metropolitan area. Like, we're just an hour outside of New York City, so housing prices are inflated because of New York City.
New York, yeah. Just
Other
like
So
places
London.
in the country, housing is a little bit cheaper, and actually the housing prices are coming down. Here, the housing prices are still going up.
I was, you know what? When you told me it was $600,000 for a
Yeah.
three-bedroom house, I was like, you know, recently I looked at property in Cleveland, and it was nothing like that.
No, it's
Um,
it's what happened was
but that
during
different parts of the
COVID,
country are gonna cost more.
all the people who didn't want to live in New York City anymore moved to my area,
In which Connecticut, yeah, that's true.
and now
They did the
there's
same
no
thing here.
houses.
They did the same thing here. So a lot of it was kind of like a, out of city flight. A lot of people went to live in rural areas or more rural areas,
Yeah.
thinking that then they can then work from home for the rest of their lives. And that's backfired because companies are commanding their staff to go back to the office. Yeah, we're getting that kind of that same sort of thing happen here, definitely in during COVID. Um, yeah, so yeah, it just fills up the villages and the suburbs,
Yeah.
and makes
And
it really hard to get any sort of property.
we've looked at I don't know how many houses so far, and they're gone like that. Like you look at a house, and then by the next day they're like,
Oh,
"Oh, we're taking best offer." It's like we just looked at the house. How many other people looked at the house that just went on the market yesterday? Like that's the
uh,
kind of stuff we're dealing with. The housing market
people
is so tight.
gazump people here to rent flats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so in London, people will they'll say, okay, so your rent on this one-bedroom flat's $1,400 a month. Um, and then people will come in and go, well, I'll give you $1,600 a month.
Wow.
So even if they've got someone locked in who's going to pay 1,400, will come. Some at times people will come along and go, I'll pay you 1,500 instead. I'll pay you 1,600 instead, and they'll take those people because the landlord wants to make as much money as possible.
Right.
So yeah, you have people literally in London gazumping each other for rent.
Wow.
What a
It's
time
I
to
mean,
be alive
insane.
and not own
yeah.
property.
Yeah, right. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, just to go back to what's happening over in the States. So, Tim, are you feeling the pinch from the economic crisis yet, or is it not really kicked in?
I would say that we're not feeling it yet, but it's gonna happen at some point. Because well, in some ways we are, right? Eggs are $10 for a dozen eggs right now, even if they're even in the store.
Graham, to put it in perspective, that would be eight, or was it eight, $7.50, $8, 7.58 pounds for a dozen eggs?
Yes, probably about
That's
£9 at the
insane.
moment. I just
I
had to send some money over to Ishmael on the island, and I got a very, very shitty exchange rate. A very
Right.
shitty exchange rate. So yeah, stronger
Yeah,
dollar means more inflation.
yeah. And also, everything at the grocery store is more expensive. Orange juice is also through the roof for some crazy reason.
Well, isn't there a blight? Isn't there an orange? Because the eggs is bird flu, isn't it? And then they've got a blight or something going on with the orange farmers in California and Florida or something.
There was a bad crop because of global warming.
Oh, that's fascinating. Farmers are bracing for impact, obviously, with these agricultural tariffs that are going to be coming in, and yeah, it just feels like that Trump is lurching from one reckless economic blunder to the next. I mean, investors are panicking. I see the value.
Not for him, though. He'll be fine.
Sorry?
Not for him, though. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, he'll be
fine.
I saw that the value of Tesla stocks got it's still
down.
Extremely high, but it's dropped quite a lot. But I heard Elon Musk is going to attend Trump's speech to Congress this week. The poster boy for government efficiency.
Wait, he's going to show up at the State of the Union.
No, he's going to take JD Vance's seat.
Yeah.
Shut up! Is that real?
No, he's going to be there, but I don't know where he's going to be.
He can't be there. He's not an elected official.
Can I ask how come he got to berate they berated Zelensky for not dressing appropriately for the White House by not wearing a suit, but they let Musk do that and bring his child who told Trump to go away, he wasn't the president and he can shut the fuck up?
Well, it's because they're hypocrites.
Oh, okay.
Massive hypocrites. Literal hypocrites. And that sort of pettiness, that conservative snobbery was all they really had to start on him with. It wasn't a real issue. It was just petty snobbery. Let's just be snobby about something because we don't like that person right now. So we'll pick on them. We'll pick on them like a child. Look at your shoes. Your shoes, oh my God, look at those shoes. Where did you get those shoes from? Payless? Like where it's petty. It starts somewhere.
Oh my
really
God, the
low,
shoes and that coat and that hair.
Yeah, like where'd you get those? The Goodwill, the charity shop? Where'd you get your hair done? The council? Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing,
There's been a USAID whistleblower who said that Musk's policies will kill people, which is it seems a bit weird that a whistleblower had to say that. I said that as soon as it happens. Like I did a video saying this is going to kill people.
How long did it take an expert to figure that one out?
Yeah, right.
The most poorest, most desperate people in the world. You take away their food and medication. What the fuck do you think is going to happen?
It's going to happen. They're going to die.
And then we've got this massive layoffs in the all across the departments of state. But I mean the education departments, mass layoffs.
They want to completely strip
Trump
that whole department away.
Pushing for the full elimination of public education. So unless you're born rich, you're going to get no education. Your parents are gonna have to, one of your parents are gonna have to stop working to look after you and teach you shit.
What they're trying to do is push all the education responsibility for paying for education on the states, which you're going to get wildly different outcomes.
Yeah.
Like a high school diploma in Mississippi is not going to be the same as it is in like New York or like Pennsylvania and Arkansas are just going to be wildly different education.
Those education standards, though, are already under the public school system wildly disparaging from one place to another.
Uneducated, he said that.
Well, yeah, he does.
More likely to vote for him. Another generation. HHS workers have resigned en masse as well in response to the Department of Health workers have been.
Because they don't want to work under that crazy guy.
Under Robert Kennedy, the murderer of over 100 Samoans. The butcher of Samoa.
And we have a measles outbreak in multiple states.
A child has died in Texas already because measles is fucking deadly. Vaccinate your kids.
Measles.
Unless you hate them. I mean, if you really hate your children, fine, let them die. But, most people don't hate their kids that much.
No, they're just stupid. They're just stupid. It's,
maybe a little.
It's neglectful stupidity.
You wouldn't want them to actually die. It's the arrogance, though, isn't it? Like, I know better than all the world's doctors.
Yeah. I know better than doctors. Go on, Tim. Sorry.
I was going to say the anti-vax thing sort of crosses political lines because liberals were fucking doing that shit, too.
Yeah.
Stupid is stupid. Ago. Doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you're on. Stupid is stupid. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could be a stupid liberal. You could be a stupid conservative. If you're stupid, you're stupid. There's not a lot you can do about it. Do you know what I mean? If you think that holistic herbal shit is going to save your child from measles, then that's Darwin's theory takes effect. Like that,
but I don't want their kid to have to die. I don't want any kid to have to die because of their parents' stupidity. Oh, he's gone again.
I mean, everyone should just get their kids vaccinated. It's not. Don't listen to RFK Jr. He's crazy. He left a bear in the middle of Central Park.
Yep. He
a dead bear. He had a brain worm.
Does he sound healthy, Tim? Does he? Does he sound like the model of health?
Healthy. So I've heard he hasn't really shown up to work either.
Doesn't surprise me.
He's just hanging out.
Well, he's
same
got
with
to do, has he? Because health just takes care of itself, really. If you think about the way things used to be in the Dark Ages, you had a headache, you drilled a hole in your head. Simple. You had a baby, you probably died. Simple.
I can't wait till we go back to bloodletting as a form of treatment.
But yeah,
leeches.
So these workers were forced to report weekly. HHS workers forced to report weekly on their productivity. It's like,
oh yeah, did you hear about everyone got sent the 5 thing? What did you?
Yeah,
5
this
things
is on top of the 5 things you did last week with email that went out to 2 million people, and that anyone could send an email to telling them 5 things you did last week. So I sent him a couple of messages telling them what I did last week. Mostly involved printing out a picture of Elon Musk and taking a big shit on the picture of Elon Musk and then setting it on fire. And then we should mention the effects that what Trump and his mates are doing is having on the rest of us. Like, he's stressing us the fuck out. Who do I sue? You guys love suing people. You sue people for all kinds of shit. You fall over in a restaurant, you fucking sue them. The bastards.
You sue the federal government.
Okay, can I sue them? I want to sue them for stress. Ivan, if you're watching this, mate. Oh, there's a super chat. Sorry, while Scott is fannying around. We should turn his camera off when he's not actually there. Because if he turns his camera off, then I can just get his screen off for a minute, and then when he comes back, it doesn't matter. Hilgara, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Happy belated birthday, Graham. Oh, it was my birthday on Friday, and as a birthday present, Trump declared World War III. You never got me battery. Birthday. I emailed you about donations for the mercenary. Keep it up. Oh, thanks very much. Sorry about the battery. Oh, shit, yeah, I was supposed to pick up a battery when I was in Liverpool. Sorry, mate. It was pretty manic when I was over there. I didn't really have much time to sit down and take stock. I was out bowling with the kids when this whole Trump thing happened with Zelensky and JD Vance, and I was trying to find the stream key to give to Mikey so we could do the show that night. And I don't know if any of you tried to find a YouTube live stream key on your phone, but it's really, really difficult. It's really difficult. And one of the things it does is you have to go into a browser to get it. You can't go into the YouTube app or the YouTube Studio app to get it. You can't get it in there. But when you try to go to youtube.studio.com or whatever the URL is, it automatically opens the bloody app. So you don't want that. So I had to disable the app. and you know, everyone's going, Graham, it's your turn. It's your turn to bowl. And I'm like bowling it straight into the gutter. I'm like, sit back down again and get on my phone. And they've got like all these messages coming in telling me what Trump is doing and how disgraceful it is. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So yeah, that's my question, Tim. Who do I sue? How do I sue them? And how much money can they
I mean, you could probably sue Trump directly if you really wanted.
Think I will do?
I mean, he's being sued a lot currently. I think most Democratic states' attorney generals are suing him. As far as like other groups, I'm sure unions have sued him at this point. Like there are as many lawsuits he gets every day as actions he does every day. And it's all getting sorted out in the courts. Unfortunately, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
And you know, he's just it's quite interesting how quickly they unrolled all of this. It only took what, prepped. 6 weeks?
It was all prepped. Project 2025, mate. You know, there's a website where you can chart out the progress through Project 2025. We're about 37% of the way through it now.
And it's also interesting how much those congressional Republicans are going to be thrown under the bus. Trump doesn't care about any of them. He doesn't care about any of the Republicans in Congress, and they're all going to get their asses handed to them anytime they do a town hall.
Yeah, but they'll just stop doing town halls. They'll just stop doing the town halls. They go back to the senator's mansion or the governor's mansion or the gubernatorial mansion and just lay low until Trump dies. And you guys get to have another election.
I mean, I think they don't realize that they're sacrificial in the midterms. They're going to get. I mean, if there's an election,
I don't think you're going to have an election, mate. I think that's why they don't care. They know there's not going to be an election. They've had that. The memo has gone round. Don't worry, guys. Not going to be an election. Trump said it himself. You know, just elect me.
I mean, you
won't need to vote again.
You'll get the sycophants like Lindsey Graham, who Trump calls an 85%er, meaning that Lindsey Graham will agree with him 85% of the time, and that's okay. But Lindsey Graham is a huge Trump kiss ass.
Yes. As we saw today. Over the weekend where he went after Zelensky, a guy who he said was a hero, and now he's gone back on that. But then again, JD Vance said that Trump was America's Hitler.
Yeah. They don't care.
He did a very good impression of Hitler when he brought in the then Chancellor of Austria into a meeting where basically they did to him exactly the same thing. I really wish Scott had turned his fucking camera off. It's really annoying me now. Sorry, everyone.
Now.
It's just an empty room. I might boot him. Should I boot him?
I don't know.
If I boot him, he can't get back on. That's the problem. I had this problem once. I think we were doing a Friday night social. This is like over a year ago. And I booted him. And then he couldn't get back on. And it was like weeks later before he could actually get back on. Let's see if we can just put in waiting room.
Yeah.
That'll do.
There we go.
There we go. Lovely. Look at that. That's very nice.
Now it's just us.
He's going to come back and go, what's going on? And I'm not going to see. I'm not going to see that he's in the waiting room. It's all going to go horribly, horribly wrong. Anyway.
The part that upsets me the most is how unprepared the Democrats were. Like, they gave you the plan. It was published in like 2023. You had years.
But they just take the same attitude as, I mean, you've just taken them when you say, well, you know, the midterms, they're competing in the midterms. You're assuming there's going to be midterms. I think we need to just plan for the worst. Hope for the best, plan for the worst, but actually plan for when it happens. Like, there's stuff like ready to be triggered, stuff ready to go ahead.
And Trump has never made it more clear on Friday that he is a Russian agent.
Yeah.
That he is working for Putin. and
Yeah.
Russia, and so is Vance,
Yeah.
and so is so many people in the Trump administration. They're just Russian implants in the American government.
Yep. Yeah.
And I hate to sound conspiratorial, but at this point, it's not a conspiracy.
Yeah. But I mean, Mikey's in the chat. Hi, Mikey. Mikey says, "Aren't you glad that I kept me pew pew?" And I'm like, yeah, because cyanide pills are hard to get hold of, but I'm sure it'll protect you against the drone strikes.
It's a weird time to be an American. It's so weird to feel like your president is making the world just hate you.
Yes.
I was watching
Nothing personal.
I was watching the WWE pay-per-view on Saturday night, and they booed. It was in Canada, and they booed the national anthem.
Yep. Good.
WWE didn't think that was going to happen, and the announcers were very upset about it.
Oh,
And
bless.
yeah, whatever. Who cares? But they deserve it. At this point, if you're an American in Canada, you're just going to get booed.
Yep. But the thing is that there's a lot of Americans going to Canada because they can't stay in America anymore because they'll get killed.
Yeah. I've heard it from a few people that their friends are moving to Canada.
Any minorities, if you're trans, if you're gay, if you're, person of color, if you're a woman, if you're a human, if you're not a Nazi, they're going to go down the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and now I have to explain to people that I'm not a bad American. I'm one of the good ones. I was talking to Mikey about it, I think the other day. I was like, I wish that there was an easier. No, it was Mikey. It was another friend, but I told him I wish it was easier to get into the UK or Ireland and just take a test to figure out if you're a good American or a bad American.
Yeah.
And if you're a bad American, you can get some sort of visa.
Yeah.
Or if you're a good American, you can get a visa. If you're a bad American, you stay in America.
I think that we've talked about the Europe poaching the brightest and the best from America. Now's the time to do it. If we rolled out the red carpet to you and said, "We'll pay for your flight, come over, we'll put you in a house, get working, get you doing your shit," you'll be like, "Yeah, fucking having that."
The wife and I were considering an offer that Switzerland was making to anyone who wants. They would come and pay for your housing for a couple of years, and then you would get a visa as long as you had a skill that they wanted. And it's all right.
Ooh, Scott's back. Hello, Scott.
Sorry
How you
about
doing,
that,
mate.
That was a very much planned food delivery.
Okay, we're gonna have a new rule. Do you know what the new rule is? If you step away from your camera, turn off your camera.
Why could you see me walking back and forth with my food? Yeah,
we just saw the empty room. We got a bit of the picture that's just an empty room. The OCD and the film director in me was just having fits of the vapors because it was like mise en scene, like this. My cinematographer side was actually hitting me in the head. It was painful. It was painful, Scott.
Next time, I apologize.
Don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. But anyway, no, I just put you in the waiting room so you just could come back in.
I didn't know what happened, so I actually just came out of it and I came back in again.
Yep.
What the hell's going on?
Kieran, thank you very much for the super chat. Kieran Crossan. If the Dems win big in the midterms, can they launch investigations? I'd say all those guys in Trump's admin are going to need their laptops Hunter Biden. I don't think the Democrats can do anything. They have.
I mean, if they win Congress, they can have committees and investigations, but they have limited legal power.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you remember all the January 6th investigation stuff, you can make public information public, and you can submit it to the Justice Department. But the Justice Department is Trump's Justice Department now, so they're not going to pursue anything, and he can't be prosecuted while he's president.
Yeah.
And everything he does is legal forever. So unless you get a whole new Supreme Court.
Ernie Burns asks, were the Dems actually unprepared or were some of them nobbled? I think they're just unprepared. They're just wishful thinking. Oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Those words go before any major disaster. Oh, this is going to be a bumpy landing, isn't it? They said before they landed in Toronto Airport the other week. It'll be fine. Plane tips
It'll
over.
be fine.
Be fine. Hey, you know all these air traffic controllers have been made redundant, and now you're having to do 10-hour shifts a day for 6 days a week. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. Trump is strip mining the federal government. It'll be fine.
Yes. Yeah.
It'll all work out in the end.
Yeah. Well, I did a fair few shows on like what the hell, where are the Dems, like where's the opposition, what are they doing? I've given up asking now. I just think that the policy
They're just
is
complaining from the sidelines. That's all I can see anybody doing.
Yeah, that's all
TikTok.
That's all they have is complaining. There is a beginnings of like a grassroots movement, but it's not run by the Democrats. It's just like people protesting in the streets.
I was going to say that earlier because I saw quite a few protests that were happening kind of outside Tesla showrooms.
Yeah.
And soon, I think if that continues, it's going to look really bad for Tesla. And their shareholders are going to have to really think about whether Elon is still going to be part of that company,
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of it he owns.
I don't think they'll care, I think people with that kind of money, they don't have a soul, Scott. They just don't care.
But they just love their brand and they care about their money. No.
Their money. They don't give a shit. It's not their money.
The stakeholders, it's their money.
It's the stakeholders, it is their money. If
Saudi princes.
They care about their money. They don't stay rich because they don't care.
It's money that they've stolen from their people that they invest in companies like.
But that to them, it's their money, right? So I don't understand why the whole they don't care. Of course, they're going to care about their money. They're going to care about their brand, the long-term viability of their brand, which is
Twitter's bouncing back. Fucking Apple are now advertising on fucking Twitter again.
I mean, Tesla has lost like a third of its value in the last 2 months.
I was about to say, sales in comparison to last year have gone down 25% in Europe.
Yeah, but the sales of Tesla have never, since 2018, they've not had any like direct attachment to the worth of the shares. The market cap has been crazy. It's been like one of a tech company, whereas the actual sales of the cars are well below any other major car company.
So I guess nothing will happen there then, Graham. Yeah, it'll just all be business.
I think that they could sell not a single Tesla, and they'll still have a huge market value because the people who invest in it don't give a fuck about the company or whatever.
Well, I think that
don't agree.
There's a certain amount of pain that the investors will take, like the stakeholders will take, but losing a third of your value in 2 months.
Yeah, and by the way, 8 times more than Ford. What do they care?
Yeah, but it's still going down. It's not rebounding. I think that there's only so much pain they can take before they can
think about their bottom line.
Yeah, the bottom line is not going to be good, and Tesla sales are down. Like the Cybertruck was not a great idea.
But I don't think it matters because look at Twitter. The Saudis and all these other fuckers lent him 44 billion. All these horrible banks lent him 44 billion to buy Twitter, and it went down to 20% of its value under him, and now it's rebounding. They don't care. They give because they're gambling with other people's money.
Well, Tesla's worry is that other electric vehicles will take its place.
Yes,
like that.
I think it will. I think they will.
So I think that Tesla specifically has a problem with Elon Musk, because he is part of the reason why their brand is being destroyed.
But they don't need customers. Stay with me on this one. They currently get, what was it, $3,000 for every Tesla they sell off the government. How much do you think Elon Musk's going to give them once they get this $3.5 trillion that they're going to take from Medicare and Medicaid off the American, people? Where do you think the money's going to go? It's going to go to his company. It's going to go to Starlink. It's going to go to Tesla. It's going to go to SpaceX.
Yeah, but I think that Tesla is going to be like the youngest child there. I think SpaceX and Starlink are probably going to get the lion's share of whatever those are his favorite projects. Tesla is just sort of something he bought into at one point.
Well, you know, he got very excited about his shitty fucking homomobile.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
I just say that the people who lose their money on like crypto scams, like they just keep going though. I mean, they just keep going back to
Yeah,
it.
but those
and-
are normal people. Those are normal people that lose their money on those things, not massive corporate sort of bigwigs who are used to making massive amount of money. I don't think that I don't think the whole Tesla issue is something to just kind of go whatever about. I think it could turn into something a little bit bigger than, well, they don't care. They got loads of money anyway. It doesn't. Business doesn't work like that
No, but
at
the
all.
Tesla doesn't work like a normal car business. You're right. Like if it was any other car company, if it was Ford, if it was VW, if it was Toyota, and their car sales were down 50% in Europe, they'll be fucked. Shareholders will be running for the hills. There'll be a run on the bank, you know. But because it's Tesla and there's no connection between the number of Teslas they sell and the market cap, there's no connection at all. It doesn't matter. It's fantasy money. And the people who are
Okay.
investing those big bucks, Scott, the big investors, they're all investing with someone else's money. It's not theirs. It's a subprime mortgage bullshit again.
It is going to be a problem when those tariffs go into effect because all those Tesla batteries are made in Mexico.
They'll have an out. They'll have an out. It'll be like tariffs on everything except for Elon's batteries. He needs them.
Yeah, yeah. But like, it's going to be a problem one way or the other. Like Elon is going to end up negatively affecting his own businesses because he's not good at it. He's not good at business. He just has a lot of money.
I don't think he has to be. I'm sorry. I've just had my hopes raised so many times over the last
but
8
that doesn't
years
mean you need to.
that
I'm
Trump
not
is
saying-
going to fail. He's going to go to jail. That Elon Musk is going to lose all his money. That this is going to, and it never fucking happens. And they always walk away from the carnage they've caused, and then go off and cause more fucking carnage.
Listen,
Yeah.
Trump is like the Superman of crime. Trump is like the Superman of crime. He can just do whatever he wants. He's invincible. Elon is a fall guy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So when shit goes wrong for Trump, he can blame Elon. Oh, Elon was the one that did all that stuff to your precious government.
Yeah, I go along with that. I completely 100% go along with that. I just don't think that the downfall of Musk is going to be Tesla or something like that. I mean, it's what you've just said.
I think it'll be a start.
Trump will, tire of the court jester. Dancing
But I think the optics of it is not going to look good. And so that is something that Trump really cares about. He cares about looking a certain way, looking powerful, looking rich. And when he's got the one guy who's come along, who's, he's got he managed to bag the richest guy in the world on his side, right? When he starts losing value, I think that he will lose value in Trump's eyes.
Well, and look at what happened to right after Zelensky was thrown out of the White House. They announced that the U.S. government was no longer going to fund a project to help rebuild Ukraine's power grid.
Yeah,
like Trump is vindictive.
Yep.
So as I mentioned,
he falls out with Elon. He'll say,
think he's setting him up.
Not 25% on Elon's batteries. We're going to do a 50% tariff on Elon's batteries. If there's a fallout, that is going to seriously affect Elon Musk.
At some point, everyone pisses Trump off.
Yes,
everyone.
He has no friends. He's it never. No one ever stays cool with him for long.
Yeah,
his administration.
I agree. But I think that will be his downfall. I don't think it's going to be a corporate thing because I think he's just going to steal all the money he needs off the American taxpayer.
But I think that's going to be the tinder that fans the flame.
He certainly won't get any help anymore.
Yeah. But there was the Night of the Long Knives, wasn't there? Where the former Chancellor of Germany and also the this rich industrialist who was murdered by the Nazis, the guy who had sort of helped, and Ernest Röhm, his name was, and he had helped get the Nazi Party into power, and he was, the right-hand man of Hitler, until one day he just wasn't, and Hitler had his head chopped off. Do you know what I mean? It was that was poof, like that, and he blamed all the problems. So when Hitler rose to power, I know he never won an election outright, but he was telling every German that for 1,000 Deutschmarks they'll be able to get a house, a car, and a job. Within a year of them being in power, they didn't have that, and people were going, "Hey, how come we didn't get a house, a car, and a job?" And he said, "Oh, it was all Elon's fault. Sorry, Ernst. It was all Ernst's fault."
Yeah.
And then he killed him. I think Trump's going to do something very similar. Might not kill him, but he'll put him in jail and then kill him, like he did with his mate Epstein, his Bezzy.
I mean, or he'll fire him over, a Truth Social truth or whatever, and that'll be the only time Elon ever sees him again.
Don't call those tweets truth. That's such a shitty.
But that's what Trump's known for. Like, he fired his first Secretary of State over text pettiness. Or a tweet that he sent out.
Yeah, pettiness.
Rex Tillerson didn't know he was fired until his plane landed and he saw what was going on his phone. Like, that's the kind of guy Trump is. You won't know you're fired until everyone else knows you're fired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've got to wrap up soon, but I just want to talk a little bit about resistance, about what we can do in this country, I suppose, is just not buy American stuff when we're given a choice. Apparently, good news, everyone. Good news, everyone. Burger King, surprisingly, isn't technically an American company. It's headquartered in Canada, as is Popeyes and Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is obviously Canadian. But so if you got a choice between Burger King and McDonald's, go for the Burger King. Even though the headquarters are still in America, it's technically owned by a Canadian company. But what's happening in America? There was supposed to be a boycott on the 28th, February 28th.
Oh yeah, there was a blackout day. You weren't supposed to shop at all.
And you weren't supposed to go on social media, and then that was the day that Trump decided to start.
I know that there's a bunch of stuff planned, like boycotts of various companies like Amazon and Target and Walmart. Economic boycotts are good, but I think, and what I've heard a lot, I haven't worked much because I had the flu or whatever, but what I was hearing last week before I got sick was people calling into the Congresswoman's office and asking for a general strike. Just completely shut down the economy, so that they know that we mean business.
Yeah. That's going to happen though. We called for that over Brexit and never fucking happened.
I don't know.
I'm so cynical. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I get it.
Your cynicism, though, I think is it doesn't lend itself. You talk about resistance. It doesn't lend itself to resistance because you're just going, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So whatever.
No. I'm saying that it's not going to. The problem that we've got is not going to sort itself out by Tesla go and pop, or
No, I'm not talking about Tesla. I'm talking about your cynicism in general.
No. But I think that we can make a difference, but we need to be organized. And one of the things that I want to see in America is a celebrity or someone with a big YouTube following or whatever, Mr. Beast, for instance, who says, right, kids, this week we're going to boycott ... And that's the name of the company. And then millions of people that week do not buy any products from that company because fuck them. But we don't have that person. If we do, they're not on our side.
And like I said, there's more of a groundswell protest that's going on. There's one this weekend. JD Vance went to Vermont to go skiing, and Vermont welcomed him with just protests. There were people lying in the streets telling him what a fucking asshole he is, and that's how he was welcomed to Vermont.
Didn't even the ski resort even had a sign saying you're not welcome here.
And also I don't know if you guys saw the park rangers that put the U.S. flag upside down on the side of a mountain.
No.
So that the park rangers
fired, aren't they? They're all going. They're gonna. They want the parks to be run by private businesses.
Yeah. That's great, but it's not really going to have an effect on these fuckers. We really need to go hit them where it hurts.
No, but I think it's
massive as
it's
America.
A momentum thing.
Something that's
it's a momentum thing.
Yeah. I think the grassroots things are happening there, but it has to get to a point where
needs
it's
a
so
Gandhi.
Massive.
America needs a Gandhi. Civil disobedience on a mass scale, Graham says. Oliver, yes.
Yeah.
That's what America needs right now. It needs a YouTube personality with fucking oodles of charisma, who's funny and witty and kind-hearted, and can get people on side. And say,
I vote for
right,
Mikey.
We're gonna and get people on side and just say, look, this week these are the companies.
He's telling everyone to do the revolution while he's playing Street Fighter in the background.
Listen, it should have been the Democrats. It should have.
Yeah, but it's not going to be.
But
they're fucking useless.
But it wasn't.
They passed the ball.
Yeah.
They don't want to do it. They're still status quo.
Yeah.
And Trump is destroying the status quo, but they're like, we can fix it later, or we can still negotiate a deal.
Yeah.
And they should just be obstructing absolutely everything. Don't show up to Congress.
Yep.
Well, apparently there are talks of protest of the State of the Union tomorrow, which is hysterical. The Mike Johnson actually asked for Democrats to behave respectfully during the speech tomorrow. What a hypocrite! When Biden was there, they shouted him down. Marjorie Taylor Greene shouted at him. Shook her head at everything he said,
really good
like a petulant Karen. And then, for them to go and say, well, we need to show him respect. Fuck off. I hope they all moon him.
Yeah.
That's what I think they should do.
Honestly, I hope they throw
get their
tomatoes at him or
asses out.
something.
The line from the Kremlin, which Mike Johnson's rebuked, refuted, rejected, whatever. But they said this week, the US is aligned with Russia. They were the words they used.
They are.
Aligned with Russia. New alignments. So I hope you like, I don't know, potatoes, goulash, and
vodka.
Really bad vodka that makes you go blind. And miserable prostitutes who just look really miserable.
What if every Democrat went into Congress tomorrow and just as soon as Trump got up there, all dropped trout and mooned him?
I'd be fine with that.
Would that be?
It would show some
That would be
backbone.
the funniest fucking thing in the
I
world.
think they should drop the C-bomb as a chant as he's trying to talk. Just clap the hands. I didn't say the word, Scott, because you almost made it to the end of a show on Politics Social.
I'm a Wayne.
Without someone waning it.
Yeah, he says that word like it's the word water. Like,
is it the word water?
Is the State of the Union, is that tomorrow?
That's not a State of the Union address.
No, it's not, is it? He's just talking.
He's just a speech to the joint session of Congress. It's not a State of the Union.
I think it is the speech of the joint session. They need to moon him.
Is that tomorrow?
It's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
They need to fart in his general direction.
I think it would be funny if they clapped and shouted something obnoxious at him.
Yeah.
Or all got together, started singing the Russian national anthem. They'll have to learn it pretty quick.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be good. If they just stood up and shouted him down and didn't let him give his speech, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I think they should.
They should do something. They have to do something. If they sit there and just listen to him go on and on and on, what good are they? What is going on? You have to start fighting these people in the way that they have been fighting against.
Yeah.
They should boo him like the wrestling heel that he is.
Yes.
Sfax has just pointed out that goulash is actually Hungarian. Good point, Sfax. I said, when you say a word and you think, actually, that's probably not right. Don't worry. No one will notice.
Right.
Someone noticed.
Culturally
I love the live chat in this.
Thing.
Keeps me grounded. Goulash is
they keep you humble, bro.
Well, what do they eat? Is it plov in Uzbekistan? The national dish is called plov. I love that. Plov.
I don't know what the national dish of Russia is. No idea.
Fucking
vodka.
Hypocrisy.
Vodka
and hypocrisy.
It's such an American stereotype of Russian
corruption
people that they all drink vodka.
There's no corruption like Russian
corruption.
You know what I mean? The corruption in Russia is just off the scale. You go to these African countries that are famous for corruption. They've got nothing on Russia. It's off the charts. It's like, the kindergarten teacher has to be bribed not to kill your child when you leave them with them. It's that bad. It's Borscht. That's it. Borscht. Borscht. That's what they eat. Thank you, Kieran. So I hope you like borscht in America, and I hope you like.
I haven't
making
had
shitty,
it yet. So.
miserable fucking movies.
He's like, I haven't had it yet. It's gonna happen.
So,
yeah.
I know that will be everything I eat.
Hope
for
you
the
like
next 5
queuing up
hours.
for bread.
Or I could move to the UK and have one of your lovely meat pies.
Oh yes, you could from
Mate, you have no
Greg's
idea.
the Bakers.
You have no idea. I went
Listen.
to like 3 weeks ago. I went to a pie and mash shop, a traditional pie and mash shop.
Nice.
I enjoyed myself so thoroughly. You
Ooh,
have no
dirty
idea.
bastard.
Listen,
So good.
I've been to Ireland a couple of times, and I already love Greg's. So
Yay! Well, I'm up in Durham,
Yay.
and Greg's originally from Newcastle, just up the road, so we have the original.
Greg's. You can't go wrong with a sausage roll from Greg's.
Well, you can, because they're always
Delicious.
bloody cold. That's the one thing I hate about Greg's.
If they're
I go
warm,
in,
they're great.
because I'll eat anything in Greg's. I just go in and go, what have you got that's just come out the oven? Because otherwise, it's like, and it's
Oh,
something
they'll
to
serve you
do.
cold pizza.
It's something
They
to
will
do
serve
with
you cold
VAT.
pizza.
Do you know about this?
I've had cold pizza.
So Tim, if they reheat the pasties, right? So they can take the pasties out the oven and they put them in like a bain-marie, keep them kind of tepid.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to reheat them, or they'll have to charge you more for the pasty because there's an additional
Really?
tax on hot food to go.
Wow.
So they can sell
Oh,
it, but it's
I
cooling.
see.
It's not hot; it's cooling down. Apparently, or something.
Wow.
There's this technical way that they make pasties 25% cheaper than they should be, or something. I don't know. Someone can tell me in the chat.
There's nothing worse
Tomorrow,
than
'cause I'm going now.
a cold beef pie. Like a cold meat pie is not cute. It's like cold gravy. It's gross.
I know a really gross joke about a pork pie, but I'll tell you that after the show. Listen, Tim and Scott. So we didn't get through everything. I mean, we've gone on for a good 20 minutes over time, but like there's a lot to get through, isn't there, this week? It's
Yeah.
It's been
I think we're going
crazy.
to run out of things to talk about anytime soon, are we?
No.
Barely scratched the surface. But yeah, stick with us. We're trying to make sense of this madness. And thank you for watching. Thanks for everyone who dropped a chat in there and joined in the conversation. Thanks for all the super chats. Really appreciate that. It keeps this community alive. So thank you very much for that. And if you'd like to give us a little likey on the way out, that'll be boss. So that's it.
And follow the Bin podcast.
Bin podcast. I need to get a little animation that says Bin podcast. Off Mikey, don't I? So
at the Bin podcast.
Tim
on
and
YouTube.
Brenner and Mikey all host the Bin podcast, and they're looking to get 1,000 subscribers so they can start, fleecing people of money. I mean, getting super chats out of people.
We love fleecing people for money.
Well, no, I mean, I see myself more as like a busker. You know what I mean? But a slightly less annoying busker, because if a busker's really loud and you don't like the music they're playing, you can't get away from them. If they're in the city centre. Whereas you don't have to watch this channel, which always fascinates me in the comments, and people are like, oh, you're a knobhead, oh, lefty twat. And I'm just like, there's like a million other channels to watch. Why did you come on this one? To
Literally
go, lefty. Weird people. There's weird people out there. I'll tell you who isn't weird, though. The people watching this, they're all awesome. And I'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock for Morning Brew, hopefully. And until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my guests, Tim and Scott. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.
Boom.